Welcome everyone. My name is Kevin Carpenter. I'm a volunteer at CppCon, and today I have Klaus Iglberger with me, who is a veteran of CppCon. And so, Klaus, tell us a bit about yourself.
So indeed, I've been at CppCon a couple of times. I think my first CppCon was in 2014. At this time, I was just a participant, but I already liked the experience. This was great. You can meet all the people that you usually just read about and that you hear in recordings. So this was a very, very good experience. So I decided to dive a little more into CppCon. I think the next year I gave my first talk, a talk about my own library called the Blaze Library. And last year, for the very first time, I gave my first class. So since approximately 2015, I've been a freelancing C++ trainer. And last CppCon, I talked about the essentials of C++. I wanted to share a little bit about the things that every C++ developer should know. And this year I'm back with another class called Modern C++ Design Patterns.
So, that's excellent to hear about the class. I do know that I am actually signed up to take your class, which I'm very much looking forward to.
That's great.
So, is this more of a theory, or is it going to be hands-on, or a bit of both?
It will be both, absolutely. I think just a theory class is not enough. People should work and should try out things. So I will talk a lot, of course. I will present the material. I will, of course, also raise discussions. But I definitely want people to try out things. So what I will do is I will show the classic implementations of design patterns. And I'll show how much they have changed with C++ 11, 14, and 17. I really want people to see that it's not just an object-oriented programming language, but a multi-paradigm programming language, and that you can gain so much by really diving into all these paradigms. And so I'll talk about the classical design patterns. I will show the old code, but then I will explain what we should change. And then people can try this out on their own and feel the difference. And there's indeed a lot to feel. Suddenly code gets cleaner, suddenly code gets easier to understand, but also to write and read. So indeed, I want people to experience this hands-on. So you will have a chance to implement the modern versions of design patterns. You will be able to do some hands-on on expression templates, for instance. So I think you will like it. This is has a lot of practical things too.
So I am looking forward to it. I will say I loved in your description you had a list of questions, and it was like, if you know about this or you don't know about this, you might need my class. And I want to say I hit at least half of the 10 that you had there. So
All right.
I'm definitely looking forward to your class. But
And I definitely hope to fill in the voids. Oh yes.
excellent. So, and for those though that aren't taking the class, you also, I mean, you've got a 2 hour block talk because you're part of the Back to Basics track and you're doing Move Semantics, correct?
That is correct, yes. So perhaps a little bit about how it came to be. I remember that John Kalb visited us in the Munich user group a couple of years ago. I remember that we talked about CppCon becoming too expert friendly. So a lot of experts, a lot of talks going too much into detail, almost too much. And I was asking if there couldn't be any talks on basic patterns, on basic design, basic things, basic features. And this year, for the first time, there will be a back to basic track. So it will be an entire track. There will be approximately 15 to 20 talks in there. And this will be just on the basics. And this is an idea that I really love. So as a C++ trainer, this is probably natural. And I participate by giving a 2 hour talk or 2 times 1 hour talk about Move Semantics, because I believe this is a topic that a lot of C++ developers have not yet fully grasped. I try to introduce Move Semantics from the very basics, the motivation, the implementational details, of course, but I will also go a little more into detail, especially in the second hour. I will talk about forwarding references. I will talk about the traps that you might hit there. I think this is indeed one. So generally, the back to basics tracks is a very, very good idea in order to give people the opportunity to learn the basics again. This is definitely not wrong.
You know, I absolutely understand you there, because even hearing you talk, it's like, I think 1 hour for Move Semantics, it lets people do an overview, but as you said, like going into the second hour, looking at forwarders and how that affects things, I know that's something that even I have to go look that up whenever I need to use it. So I'm sure that I would gain a lot even from visiting your talk. Even though I might use Move in some cases, I'm sure there's 2 or 3 cases where I could be using it that I'm not paying attention to.
And I promise it will be even a little entertaining, although it's about move semantics.
It's C++. Everybody finds that entertaining, don't they?
Hopefully. All right.
Well, I look forward to seeing you at the conference here in a couple of weeks, and I appreciate you giving me the time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much too. Bye.
Bye-bye.